In this lesson, we're going to write linear equations given the slope and the y-intercept. So how do I write an equation given the slope and the y-intercept? The first step, we're always going to calculate the slope. The second step is we are going to find the y-intercept, and in many cases we will be substituting and solving for b to find that y-intercept. And the third step is to write the equation of the line back in y is equal to mx plus b. So remember that when we've solved for y in an equation, that we know that the m is going to be our slope, and then the number without the variable, the b, is going to be our y-intercept. So write the equation of the line given the slope and the y-intercept. So these we're going to simply just take our y is equal to, if we know that our slope is -2, we're going to plug that in for our m, x, and then our y-intercept is 5. And there we have an equation written in slope-intercept form. For our second one, we have a slope of 8. So we have y is equal to, again, we're going to plug in the 8 or substitute that in for the m, x, and then I have -7, so it's going to be -7 for our y-intercept. And our third one here, we'll have y is equal to 3 all over 4, x, and then we'll have -3. All right, so how do I write an equation of the line given the graph? All right, again, our first step is going to be to calculate the slope. So let's find the slope of this first one. I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 over 2. So my slope is equal to 6 all over 2, then, which we can simplify to 3. And our y-intercept, remember the y-intercept is where it's going to cross the axis at the y-axis. And so here, let's erase this. All right, so where it's crossing at the y-axis then is right here at the -2. So our b is equal to -2. So now we just have to write this into slope-intercept form. Y is equal to 3x, and then the y-intercept is 2, so we have -2. All right, for our next one, we're going to find the slope. We're going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we're going over 2, so we have -8 all over 2, which is going to be equal to -4. And then our y-intercept is right here at the 1, so our b is equal to 1. And so now let's just plug it back into the y is equal to mx plus b. We'll have y is equal to -4x plus 1. And one more. So we're going to find the slope and our y-intercept. And again, let's count. We're going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 all over 1, which is equal to 5. And our y-intercept looks like it's right there at the 4. So we'll have y is equal to 5x plus 4. All right, so how do I write an equation given 2 points? All right, so first of all, remember that the first step is to find the slope. So let's find the slope. We have x1, y1, x2, y2. So I'm going to use a slope formula and taking -1 minus 4, so y of 2 minus y of 1, all over x of 2, which is 0, minus 10. So we'll have -5 all over -10, and then that's going to be equal to positive then 1/2. All right, so our slope is equal to 1/2. And now we need to find the y-intercept. In these here, you'll notice that we have 0, -1, and remember that y-intercept is when x is 0, the y-intercept, so I have 0, -1, that's my y-intercept. So anytime you have a 0 for the x, you're given that y-intercept. So in this case, our b is equal to -1 because the x is 0, the y-intercept is -1. So we're going to have y is equal to then 1/2 x minus 1. All right, so we're going to write our equation in slope-intercept form. Again, our first step is always to find the slope. So I'm going to then take m is equal to, we have our x of 1, y of 1, x of 2, y of 2. I'm going to plug it into the slope formula, which is y of 2 minus y of 1, which is 8, all over x of 2, which is 5, minus 0. So my slope, I'm going to have negative 9 all over 5. So there's our slope is negative 9 all over 5. And then our y-intercept, again, if you look at this one, our y-intercept is when x is 0, because I have 0, 0, 8. I have 0, I'm going to go up 8. So here's our 0, 8. So that's where it's crossing the y-intercept. So we know that the b in this case is going to be equal to 8. So now let's go ahead and write it into slope-intercept form. I'm going to have y is equal to negative 9 all over 5x plus 8. All right, number 3. All right, we're going to find the slope, find the y-intercept so that we can write the equation. So again, our slope, x1, y1, x2, y2. We're going to take our negative 14 minus, now don't forget that this was a negative 8, so minus negative 8 all over 0 minus, here's our x of 2, minus negative 6. So again, remember that two negatives make a positive, and we're going to have that here as well. So negative 14 plus 8 is going to give us a negative 6, and then those two negative 0 plus 6 is giving us a 6. So we have a slope of negative 1. And then we need to find the y-intercept. And our y-intercept, again, we have this 0, 14 here, 0, and then we have down here at 14. So our y-intercept is negative 14, so we have b is equal to negative 14. So let's plug it in. Y is equal to negative 1x, or you could just have negative x too, that would work, minus 14. Example 4, how do I write an equation in function notation? All right, so write an equation for the linear function f with the values of f of 0 is equal to 5 and f of 4 is equal to 17. So let's rewrite this piece right here. So I have f of 0, which is the f of x, meaning x is going to be equal to 0 in this case. And then the f of 0 is equal to 5. So our x is the 0 and our 5 is the y. And again here for the f of 4, we have the f of x. So right here this is x. Our x is going to be 4. And then the f of x, or f of 4, is equal to 17. So that's going to be our y. So knowing that, let's go ahead and plug in and find the slope, find the y-intercept, and then write the equation. All right, so we're going to have our x1 and our x of 1 and x of 2. All right, so we have our x of 1, y of 1, x of 2, y of 2. Again, we're going to start by finding the slope. So our m is equal to then 17, y of 2 minus y of 1, all over 4 minus 0. So 17 minus 5 is going to give us 12, divided by then 4 is equal to 3. So we know that our slope is 3. And our y-intercept, again, here we have our x is 0. Our y-intercept is going to be 5. So our b is equal to 5. So we have y is equal to 3x plus 5. All right, let's do another one. Write an equation for the linear function f with the values f of 2 is equal to 10 and f of 0 is equal to 4. Again, if it's f of x, so our x is equal to 2. So in this case right here, this is going to be 2, and the f of 2 is equal to 10, so our y value is equal to 10. And the f of 0, or the f of x is 0, is going to be equal to 4. So there's our x's and our y's. Our x1, y1, x2, y2. All right, so let's start. We're going to find the slope. So we have y of 2, which is 4, minus y of 1, which is 10. And then we're going to have 0 minus 2. All right, 4 minus 10 gives us a negative 6. And 0 minus 2 gives us a negative 2. So negative 6 divided by negative 2 is equal to positive 3. So we have a positive 3 slope. And then our y-intercept, I have an x of 0, so there's our y-intercept. Our b is equal to 4. So y is equal to then our slope of 3x plus 4. All right, our last example, example 5. How do I write an equation from a real-world problem? Find the slope or rate of change in the y-intercept to write the equation for the relationship. A dance academy charges $20 to use the facility and $25 per hour of instruction. Write an equation that gives the total cost as a function of hours of instruction. So we have $20 to use the facility. So it doesn't matter how many hours we're going to use it there, we're going to pay the initial $20. So I would have I think it said function, so let's just do f of x is equal to our $20, and then our $25 is per hour. So our slope is 25, and our y-intercept is the 20, and so our equation is the f of x is equal to 20 plus 25x. All right, number 2, you have $35 gift card for Caribou. Each time you go to Caribou, you order a medium turtle mocha that costs $4.29. Write an equation for the amount that remains in the card as a function of the number of turtle mochas purchased. All right, so we're starting out with our $35, so that's our y-intercept. So if you saw that on a graph, you'd be starting with that $35 right up here. And then every time you buy a mocha, you're going to be subtracting out that $4.29. So you keep going down like this. Oops. Anyway, we get the idea there. So our rate of change is 429, or a minus 429, because we're subtracting it. So we have our y is equal to our y-intercept of 35, and then we're going to minus the $4.29 for each mocha that you purchase. And so your equation would be y is equal to 35 minus 4.29x. All right, number 3. The area of the glaciers on Mount Kilimanjaro was 5.2 square kilometers in 1970. The area of the glaciers has been decreasing at a rate of 0.11 square kilometers per year. Write an equation for the area of the glaciers as a function of the years since 1970. So we're starting out with the area of 5.2. So our f of x would be equal to then our 5.2, and then we're going to be decreasing at a rate of 0.11. There's our slope, kilometers per year. And so the equation would look like the f of x is equal to 5.2 minus 0.11x. So in this lesson, we took a look at how to write an equation given the slope and the y-intercept.